So, Harry, trying something new. If you were to be reincarnated as a bug,
Yeah.
because let's be honest, that's the best you can probably hope for,
Thanks.
what kind of bug would you be?
Okay, well, let's see. I think that I would probably turn out a slug.
A slug? Oh,
Yeah, well, I move very slowly,
true. Yeah.
if at all.
Yeah.
I'm quite squishy, let's be honest. I really don't like the French.
You know what? Yeah. I think you're right. You convinced me. Yeah.
Very good.
I think like you're quite crafty though, so I think you'd probably craft yourself a little shell and maybe upgrade yourself to a snail after a period. Yeah.
That's how it works, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Great, so a slug turning into a snail.
That's you.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are pitching prequels, sequels, and spin-off ideas to A Bug's Life. Start of a new year, so a new Pixar film. That's how we do things here. We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with the ideas they have posted on our Facebook and Twitter pages. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original movie and catch you up with a bit of a plot summary. I'm Harry, the host with the most food.
What, inside you or just
in general.
Just in general? Okay.
I reckon I've got more food than you.
Probably true. You know, I do keep a very...
Inside me and in my kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, I do keep a pretty bare fridge. It's well known, so... Yeah.
And joining me as always, the host with the best Christmas presents.
Aw,
It's all this food that you've given me this morning.
that is true, yeah.
It's John Lucas.
Hello. Happy New Year, Harry.
Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm good. How was it for you?
Good. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Yeah, it's 2021. We're all just glad, just living every goddamn day.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Glad to still be alive. So this is our regular tradition. Obviously, start of a new year, we like to ease ourselves in gently, and what better way to do that than with a nice Pixar movie?
Yeah.
Nice, and I would describe this as a nice Pixar movie.
Yeah. It's Pixar's one of those rare collections of movies. Rare collections of movies where they're pretty much all fairly easy watches, and there's not that many sequels.
No. Well, we did notice that we're running a little bit short on ones that haven't got any sequels because they've got a little bit sequel happy in recent years compared to what they started off as.
They've got a couple of franchises, but there's still a couple more to go on, not including the 2 films that came out last year.
True.
So there's that.
Yeah, we're not completely running into it. I'm just thinking, I feel like they've got more.
And hey, we got 1 a year, so
we did. Yeah.
We're done for a few years.
We'll keep it going. It's fine. Yeah, but I'm surprised. I mean, this film is about 20 years old now.
Something like that. Yeah.
Came out in like 1999, I think. Is that
Really?
right? I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
roughly. Should have fact checked really. But, why start now? So yeah, I'm a little surprised they've not revisited it because, of course, they've revisited Monsters Inc. They've revisited Toy Story many a time, but this one they've left alone.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't think it's as iconic.
Yeah,
Like Toy Story, that really broke new boundaries.
sure.
And then this, a lot of the same. It's like, okay, here's one group of people, in the first one it's toys, this one it's bugs. Like, oh, what have they got to say? And like, I don't know, I don't really think that they had anywhere that they really could go with this.
True. Yeah.
And like, this also came out the same year as Antz.
I was going to mention that, which also doesn't have a sequel,
No, true.
and that's a DreamWorks, so that's
Yeah.
very surprising.
But yeah, I don't know. I just don't really. I never felt that kind of connection to this, the same that I did for like, well, Toy Story or Finding Nemo or Monsters Inc. or something. And even though those latter 2, it took them ages to get sequels out for them, like well over a decade, it still felt earned.
Yeah, I think if they were like to announce tomorrow that they're making a Bug's Life 2, I think the reaction would just be like, why?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's crying out for it.
No, not at all.
And I did notice watching this, it's a nice enough film, but it's definitely one of the thinnest Pixar films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have a whole lot of meat on the bone, really. It's
No.
which is not necessarily a criticism, but like, I watched this within a few days of watching Soul, their latest film, and that's like
Same. But my God, the contrast.
it's exactly now in today Pixar are like asking kids to grapple with existentialism and the meaning of the universe and all this kind of stuff. And A Bug's Life, the message is just like stand up to bullies.
Yeah.
That's it. There's a very nice,
Basically.
simple message, which in many ways I think is a good thing because I think
It's an important message, but it is not unique.
It's not. It's far from a unique message. Absolutely.
Whereas, like now that they're always trying, like, okay, so accept your parents. You know, if one of them's dead, like don't mourn them for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's onward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lots of grappling with death and destruction, and this film was really lacking in that. I noticed as well because I think Antz. I think like most people, I conflate them both in my head a little bit because they both came out at the same time, and I saw them both as a kid. Like Antz has a lot of death and destruction in it, and this one really doesn't. I kept waiting for any of the bugs to get squished or to die in some horrible manner, or just because it's Pixar, you expect some kind of tugging at the heartstrings, but it really doesn't go there. Like,
No, it doesn't.
Apart from a very dark moment at the end, it really doesn't go there at all.
Yeah.
So,
But like in comparison to Antz, like Antz is fully like here's the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched some footage of Antz back. I didn't rewatch the whole movie, but I watched some clips, and I had forgotten just how much darker it is compared to this. Like it really is doing that slightly DreamWorksy thing of being maybe more for grown-ups than for kids, but not in the clever way that...
No, not in the clever way.
No, more just here's some references the grown-ups will get that kids won't understand in the slightest.
I mean, the main character at one point, he gets accidentally forced into a war, and he watches as... Well, I think he gets covered by a rock, so he doesn't really... You don't see the battle, but you see the aftermath.
Yeah.
And, like, he picks up somebody else's head, and the guy's like, have you seen my body?
Yeah, no, I watched that.
And then he's like, oh no, I don't think you're going to do very well. And then the guy just dies. And like, oh my God, this is a kid's thing. Bugs Life has none of this.
No. Bugs Life really feels like a children's movie in a way I don't think any other Pixar movie has. A lot. I mean, they are children's movies, don't get me wrong, but so many of the other ones also feel like they have something for adults to hold on to.
Have you seen Cars? I didn't get anything for adults
from
Cars.
No, I've not watched any of the Cars movies, so maybe they did it as well.
Yeah.
So, although they made 3 of them, so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this just feels like something that you could pop a toddler in front of, and it's just bright colours, and because the plot is really barely there.
Yeah.
It's a really thin plot, but and the characters aren't particularly well defined, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
And it still looks nice. Like the animation actually looks really. I think it's held up very well.
Really well.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know when they redid Monsters. Inc. too. Is it Monsters Inc? Yeah.
Monsters Inc. Then Monsters University.
That was it. That was why. So when Monsters University came out, did they upgrade the graphics or did they kind of do the same?
I think it was kind of the same. I think I've only seen it once, so I don't really remember.
Because Toy Story, you can really tell, can't you? When you watch 1 against 4, 1 looks significantly more basic.
Yeah, but at the same time, they've kept it sort of loyal to where it started. So they've not advanced it too much, but. I mean, they've credited all the humans. That's the biggest jump in.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why this one has aged well, is that there aren't any humans in it, so it doesn't give you that chance for it to look.
And it's the same as like Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo. Well, no, Finding Nemo's got humans in it. But yeah, like Monsters Inc. Like there's one little girl. They got her right.
Yeah,
that's it. Everybody else is just completely made up monster, so it doesn't look weird.
True.
Whereas like Toy Story or anything else that's got humans in it, it always just looks a little bit off.
Yeah, but no, I thought that the animation on this was really pretty. I was probably the thing I found the most engaging about this was just looking at it.
Yeah, definitely.
So where is it? Where's my food?
Isn't it up there?
What?
The food was in a leaf sitting on
Excuse
top.
me?
Are you sure it's not up there?
Are you saying I'm stupid?
No.
Do I look stupid to you? Let's just think about the logic, shall we? Let's just think about it for a second. If it was up there, would I be coming down here to your level looking for it? Why am I even talking to you? You're not the queen. You don't smell like the queen.
She's learning to take over from me, Hopper.
Oh, I see. Under new management. So it's your fault.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't.
First rule of leadership. Everything is your fault.
But
It's a bug-eat-bug world out there, princess. One of those circle of life kind of things.
Right, so should do a plot summary then?
You sure this is your film? You go for it.
Great, okay, so A Bug's Life stars this ant called Flick.
Yes.
He's the main character. Well, first of all, you start off with this ant colony on an island.
Yes.
It looks very Pixar.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really get a sense of whether it's not an actual island. It's maybe it could be a traffic island. We don't know.
I think it's like it's an island on a pond that has dried up.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where the film starts. There's an ant colony on there. They're all gathering food, and they're putting it on this leaf on the edge of the island for whatever reason, right on the edge of the island. Who knows? And you just get introduced to them. Every ant is carrying just like one little bit of grain or something. But then there's this one ant, which is Flick, who's the main character, who he's a bit kooky, and he comes up with all these weird inventions.
He's like a wannabe inventor, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's got this invention. It's basically like a backpack mixed with a circular saw that can just cut down a blade of grass and take all the seeds off it and just, he increases production, basically. He can pick 5 seeds in a time and take another ant to pick 1. So he's like, I'm going to fix everything, and then we can spend more time like getting food for ourselves as opposed to this big tribute or whatever it is. The tribute is for grasshoppers.
Yes, the ants are in a kind of abusive relationship with a gang of grasshoppers who turn up every few months, demand a massive amount of their food, and then fly away again.
Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, so then the grasshoppers arrive.
Yeah.
Everybody runs underground, and Flick, he throws his invention to the floor, and it knocks the entire tribute off the island into into a little bit of a puddle.
Yes.
It's gone, and they've spent like all summer gathering all this food.
Yes, so they have nothing to give the grasshoppers now.
Yep. So the grasshoppers get very angry. They break their way underground into the ant colony and start threatening everybody.
Yes. Did you notice that this film has managed to do something that we have managed to avoid for a remarkably long time?
A Kevin Spacey appearance?
Yes, we've managed to get through, I think, all 200 episodes so far.
Really?
Maybe he popped up in some early ones before it was like a problem. But yeah, I know that I've thought about some films that because he just pops up in them, it's been like, oh, let's not touch that. Let's just leave it. So this film. Another thing it shares with Antz. Both films have voices by actors who are now very problematic. Because the main guy from Antz is Woody Allen, who would not be cast in a children's film today.
No.
So not going to dwell on the Spacey thing. He's there. He plays the villain, so at least you don't have to like him. But
I mean, that's generally his role, isn't it?
Yeah.
I watched Seven the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. He's very suited to that sort of role.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he played a lot of villains. Yeah.
It just comes very naturally with him.
Yeah, and now we know why.
There's a reason.
Yeah. So he plays Hopper, who is the ringleader of the...
He's a grasshopper called Hopper.
Yes, they're really original. Like, they really thought about that for a long time, yeah.
Great.
Actually, thinking about it, the names are lazy as shit. Because there's also a praying mantis called Manny. It's like, come on. We could come up with this. Like,
what's the stick called? Is he just called Stick?
Sticky. I don't know what the stick was called.
Could it be Slim?
Slim? Possibly, yeah.
That was David Hyde Pierce.
That's the stick, yeah.
Yeah.
So the stick is called Slim. There's some thought gone into that. But
Caterpillar's called Heimlich.
that's all right.
Something. I'm trying to find all the potentially lazy ones. Oh, there's Gypsy Moth.
Yeah.
That's apparently a name. Tuck and Roll.
Oh, they're the little woodlice, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to all these. Oh, and of course, PT Flea. That's a good one.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That felt like the one joke for grown-ups.
Yeah.
In this film, but yeah.
Well, anyway, so the grasshoppers are pissed because there's no food for them, and they're like, "Well, where's our food?" So they threaten the queen. The queen is a very, very old ant.
Yes.
Who looks like she's about 200 years old.
Yes.
But her daughter is Julia Dreyfuss.
Julia Louis Dreyfuss. Yes, it's a hard one to say quickly.
I thought if I gave it a run up and I'd just go right into it, I'll get it right. But nope. Julia Louis Dreyfuss.
Julia Louis Dreyfuss.
I've never got this wrong before now.
No, sure.
Anyway, so she is the princess, but she is going to be queen, so she's basically acting as the queen.
Yeah.
I don't know why they built in this complexity to it all.
No, well, it got me thinking because she has a baby sister who's also a princess.
Yeah.
So if this was in a real ant colony, is she going to have to like eat her sister at some point to gain dominance?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And also, like everybody else, they're all siblings.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
don't
like
want to pull
her and Flick getting together at the end.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
Not a thread you really want to pull on.
No. But either way, so they threaten all the ants and say that, like, okay, well, by the time the last leaf on that tree falls, we want all our food.
Yeah.
So they have, a few months or whatever until autumn. And they're not going to be able to get all the food together in that amount of time. So they kind of kill two birds with one stone. They want rid of Flick because he put them in this mess.
Yeah.
And also they need help to try and get everything... Get all the food together. So they get Flick out of their way by sending him away, by his own idea, by sending him away to go and get help. Find some bigger bugs who can defend them against the grasshoppers.
Yeah. Well, they just think they're getting
autumn.
rid of him for a while. They don't expect him to actually succeed.
Yeah. So then he goes on his little quest and finds a little city.
Yep.
Which is just basically some rubbish.
Yeah. It's
somewhere.
the closest we get to seeing a human. We don't see any humans, which I quite like.
Oh, yeah.
But we do see the exterior of a little shack. So
Yeah.
whether it's a little coffee shop or a bar or just a mobile home.
Which, well, it's a little caravan, actually.
Is it a little caravan?
Yeah, because it's the same caravan that appears at the end of Monsters, Inc.
Oh, really? Crossovers.
Yeah, and it has the Pizza Planet truck parked outside it.
Well, of course it does. Yeah.
Which I believe is the only Easter egg in this movie, as far as I know.
Well,
as far as
it's
I
only the
noticed.
second Pixar film, so how many Easter eggs could they really stuff in? They didn't really have a world to build around at this point. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so then we start seeing all the city life,
Yes.
which centers around mainly this circus troupe. So we start off seeing this circus troupe, which is some of the people that we talked about before. There's a praying mantis. Is she a moth?
I thought a butterfly, but she could be a moth. Yeah.
She's a moth. She's called Gypsy Moth. That's her name, apparently.
Okay, sure.
So she's a moth. There's Heimlich, the caterpillar. There's Francis. Which one's Francis?
Oh, that's the ladybug.
Oh, the ladybug. Yeah. Yeah, there's David Hyde Pierce playing Slim.
He's a stick insect.
And then there's P.T. Flea, who is the John Ratzenberger appearance of this movie.
Yeah.
Every Pixar movie.
Of course, yeah.
And then, of course, my two favourites, which are Tuck and Roll, who are kind of like these...
Americans call them pillbugs. We call them woodlice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like indeterminately foreign, and they don't, and they just make random noises. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't speak the language. They just kind of smile and nod along, and they're very hyperactive. And
they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're great. They're always fun when they're on screen.
Rosie, whole troop on stage, finale now!
Oh, okay, I just need a little time. Coming. Tuck, roll, let's get moving, guys. We're up next. Don't you understand? We are up. Hey, they don't understand me.
So yeah, it's a circus troupe. They perform...
Not a very good circus troupe.
Not a very good circus troupe. Actually, a very terrible one, but it makes for a very good show.
Yes.
Almost as though it's deliberate, but it's actually not.
So they're performing as a literal flea circus. So their audience is fleas and flies, basically.
Yeah.
And the audience doesn't really like what they're doing and kind of boos them off.
No. But then they have a trick that goes colossally wrong, and they basically burn their ringleader, P.T. Flea. They burn him to a crisp.
Yeah.
Though he is absolutely fine.
He lives. If this was Antz, he'd be dead. But in this film, he lives. It's fine.
And so he fires them all, and they all go to a bar and try and drown their sorrows. In that bar, that's where Flick comes across them, and they're pretending to be all tough because the ladybug is having to put up with lots of transphobia.
Sure.
Well,
Okay.
it is, isn't it?
Well, I don't think the film's really trying to say that, but sure, yeah.
I mean, the joke is it's a ladybug who they're not a lady.
Yeah.
They're actually a very butch man.
Yes.
And so they have to put up with everybody thinking that they're a lady, and that's not the case. And so then jokes ensue.
Sure. I don't think the idea of the film is making is it's a transgendered ladybug, though. I think it's just a male ladybug.
Well, yeah. Either way, so yeah, they're all trying to be big and scary to some of the flies that are bullying them, and that gets Flick's attention because he's looking for big bugs.
Yes.
So he then recruits them basically, even though what they did was basically just run away, but they made it look like it was good.
Yeah. He thinks they're genuinely like a troop of warriors. He doesn't realise that they're just circus performers.
And they think that he's hiring them for a circus performance.
Yeah, they think he's a talent scout.
Yeah.
So it's comedy of errors, misunderstandings.
Yes. So they go with him, and they fly back to the ant island, where they've not managed to gather much food in the meantime, and they're not gathering enough. They're not going to have enough by the time that the grasshoppers get back, and they put on a massive banquet, I guess, for the circus books. They're like guests of honor, and the school does a little reenactment.
I think this was what made me laugh the most, when the kids do the very violent reenactments of what they expect to happen. Like, and you see the caterpillar's been chopped in half. And
they all die.
There's blood all over it. Now, this is when it does get a little bit, not adult, but it gets a little bit close to the bone, I guess.
Only slightly.
Only episodes late, but it's pretty funny. Like,
I watched this as a young child. I got it, and I loved it.
Yeah, no,
like,
you'd find this funny. It's not scary.
No. Yeah, and so then I think this is when the circus troupe work out that, hey, this isn't the job that we signed up for.
Yeah.
But somehow Flick manages to get them to stay. I forget how.
Yeah, they try to leave when they realise that they're expected to do a battle and they're not, then they have no interest in being fighters.
Yeah.
But then as they're leaving, Flick follows them, and then the bird attacks them.
Yeah, I think the bird attacks Dot, the little...
Yes, Dot is the baby ant.
Yeah.
The ant princess, who's voiced by Hayden Panettiere from Heroes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, somehow that convinces the circus troupe to stay. I don't fully understand why. But...
it gives Flick the idea. Well, so there's a whole sequence where a bird attacks them. Yeah. And they have to work. They have to work together to escape from the bird, and it looks to the ants watching from outside like they're doing this incredible military routine, when actually they're just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
But then it gives Flick the idea that the grasshoppers are scared of birds. Mm-hmm. So he has the idea then that the circus troupe can work with him to help him to build a fake bird. Mm-hmm. And he says, if you help me to build the fake bird, then you can leave before there's any actual fighting.
Yeah. It's a good looking fake bird.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
It's nice and creative. I like that Pixar level of creativity.
Yeah, sure.
Which there's a lot of in this.
Visually it's a very creative movie, of course. It's Pixar.
Yeah. So they build the bird, and when the grasshoppers do eventually come, they set this bird on, and they put all the little, they put all the scouts in, just all the child ants in the bird. Don't know why it has to be run by children, and they try scaring off the grasshoppers, but at that moment the circus troupe is back, I think.
No, you missed it. The circus troupe came back before the grasshoppers attacked.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the PT Flea turns up looking for his performers, and he's got a poster of them as like a circus act, and that's how the rest of the ants figure out that they're not fighters, they're just a circus troupe. And then they get angry at Flick for lying to them, and Flick gets banished, basically.
Yeah.
So the circus troupe all go back, and Flick goes with them in kind of disgrace. And while he's away, the grasshoppers attack and take over the colony, and that's when the little baby ant Dot escapes, hides in the grass, and then goes to find Flick and tells him that he needs to come back and rescue them.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
When did you watch this film?
A few days ago.
Okay, sure.
I'd try and watch it the day before, but it just didn't line up this week.
Fair enough.
And so, then they start the actual bird attack, where they put all the young kids in the bird. I think Flick is like flying it. He's in the pilot seat or whatever. And it's good. Like the bird, it can make a loud noise. It can look very scary. It can pretty much fly. It's just swinging on a branch, but it looks like it's flying. They do very well.
It's a good contraption, yeah.
And so, they scare off all the grasshoppers, apart from Hopper. He's still around when PT Flea sees this bird and sets it on fire just to try and scare away the bird. He also thinks it's a bird. Yeah. He just does way better at actually fighting it off.
Sure.
It sets the bird on fire, so Hopper can see that, like, oh, that's not a real bird. We've been tricked. We've been had.
Yeah.
Flick crashes the bird and gets everybody out, so everybody's safe because this film doesn't go there. And then what happens?
Well, then the grasshoppers come back and they try to take over the colony again, don't they? Or there's like a final fight between Hopper and the ants. Flick has this whole speech, doesn't he? He's like, the grasshoppers, you're just bullies, and the only reason that we do what you say is because we don't realise that we're stronger than you. He gives this very rousing, very Pixar speech about standing up to bullies.
Yeah.
And the ants all line up together, they link hands, and they fight back, and the grasshoppers get beaten back.
So there's just Hopper left now. All the other grasshoppers, they've all hidden away or run away or something.
Sure.
And so in his last sort of desperate attempt to regain control, he takes Flick, he beats up Flick a little bit, gives him a black eye, picks him up by the head and flies off. The troop can't follow him through a tree, but they can't follow him completely. And so then it's just Hopper and Flick. Hopper sets him down just on the ground, starts beating him up a bit more, but then the real bird shows up.
Yes.
And Hopper's just like, oh, so you got another, you think you can fool me twice?
Yeah.
And then Hopper realizes it's a real bird, screams, the bird grabs him in its beak and flies off to its nest and feeds him to the bird's three chicks.
This is a gruesome, I mean, you don't see it, but what's implied is a gruesome end for this villain. Yeah.
So he must get pulled apart by three chicks and eaten.
Yeah, basically.
Which is, grim. But hey-ho, it's a happy end for the good characters at least.
Yes.
And
it's only Kevin Spacey, so who cares?
Yeah. And they pretty much all live happily ever after.
They do, and we get some classic Disney Pixar outtakes.
Oh yeah,
at the over the closing credits.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Bug's Life.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I thought it was very nice.
Good little easy welcome to the year.
Exactly. Yes, it was an easy watch. It wasn't too long.
No.
I would say, storyline a little bit thin. Yeah. Also, too many characters. That was my main critique. Too many characters. None of them really stood out.
There's a lot of ants, and they all look the same.
Well, it's not just that there's lots. I mean, ants. There's always lots of ants. That's kind of part of the.
Well, no, like you have like one or two villainous characters.
Sure.
You got the circus troupe. I don't think there's too many of them.
Oh, see, I think there's too many circus troopers.
No,
None of them really stand out enough.
No, because they all look different and they all do different things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. I was more like the Queen and like all her fellow cronies who are just all these really old ants.
Mm-hmm.
They all seem to be characters as equal as much as the circus troupe. I didn't really understand why, because like you don't have anything to do. You don't look interesting. You're not funny. Why are you getting so much screen time?
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. I just felt like no individual character particularly stood out. Like
Dot?
Yeah, she was cute, I guess, but I think you can definitely tell that this one doesn't have any iconic characters compared to a lot of the other Pixar films. There's no one that's like there's no breakaway character like Dory or Woody.
Yeah, no one in this is getting a spin-off.
No, like maybe the big fat caterpillar would be the only one that would get like wouldn't get his own spin-off movie, but is like the closest to being
A
one.
short or something.
Yeah, something that maybe would be memorable. I don't know, but
I
wasn't
don't know.
didn't quite have that, but it's a perfectly nice film.
Yeah,
and better than Antz.
Yeah. Cool. Do you want to do drinking games?
Sure. Yeah. Do you want me to start?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Drink for this is an obvious one, but drink for bug jokes.
Yeah, I've got drink for puns.
Oh, you mean verbal bug jokes? Yeah. I was thinking more like visual gags around bugs.
Like what?
Well, there's one at the beginning where a leaf falls in front of the ant, and they panic because the line's been broken. Like there wasn't as much of that as I would have thought. Like the stuff that where they like really dig into what ants actually do in ant culture. Maybe ant culture is just too brutal to be joked. Have you ever seen a documentary about ants? They are vicious.
Really?
Yeah, they are vicious to each other. Like,
Just depend on the species of ant.
I mean, some are worse than others, but on the whole, ants are a very warlike, angry group of animals. Yeah, so. But there was that, and there was when the stick insect gets
switched out for a branch.
Switched out for a branch, and they can't find him again. They do lots of stuff like that. It was good.
I remember watching that as a kid, and that one freaked me out because I thought that like, oh my god, they've snapped his arms and legs off. Like I didn't clock that it was a joke. I was like, oh, they snapped him. No, because I thought he was just a stick.
Sure,
like that was his thing. He was just a stick. But no, he's a stick
they were all
insect.
bugs who just had a friend that was just an anthropomorphized stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like 4 when this came out or something.
Sure.
I'm gonna believe anything. God, kids are dumb. Drink for transphobia.
Sure. Okay. Right. You've really picked up on this, haven't you? I don't think that's what it was.
Well, it was a lot of jokes that just felt like they wouldn't be making. They wouldn't make these jokes now.
True. Yeah. I think yes.
Because like not that they're offensive jokes.
No.
Particularly, but just like they're on the edge of riskiness, and it really is such a light movie.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. The whole punchline being, "Oh, dude looks like a lady," kind of thing. Yeah, probably would be handled more sensitively today. I'll give you that. Yeah. Okay. Drink every time you recognize a voice actor. Kinda. When you go, oh, that voice is really familiar, but you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Because it's not really...
Pixar's full of that.
Yeah, it is, but I think this one in particular, I don't know, because it's not as reliant on, like, celebrities. Like, now, I think recently they're a lot more using famous people, whereas...
Well, saying that, just thinking, like, how on earth did they get that line up for Toy Story?
Mm-hmm.
Like
getting Tim Allen and
Tom Hanks.
Yes, they did that, true. But a lot of the supporting cast were just,
I guess, just...
Whereas everyone in Soul who had a voice was basically a celebrity.
Yeah.
Everyone in this, you're like, oh, I recognise that voice from something. Mm-hmm. Probably another Pixar movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Just
happened. It was a lot of voices that I couldn't quite place until I looked them up. And then I was like, oh, it's that guy. Or it's that woman. Like, yeah, it's them. It's her from Heroes. Great.
Yeah. That's not a voice you recognise.
No, it's not. I mean, she had a literal child's voice at that point. That wasn't one of them.
No. Okay, drink for one of Flick's crazy inventions.
Okay.
Which he very often just comes up with on the fly, which is...
Yeah, I drink every time Flick ruins everything. He's quite a frustrating hero.
Yes,
he's
really
very annoying.
Yeah. That's probably why I didn't make another one of these.
Yeah, you don't
because no one likes the main character.
Yeah, I didn't really want to see more of Flick.
No.
Yeah. Okay, drink for perspective gags. Just, like size. Size gags and stuff, like when it zooms out and you're like... They do a lot with water, obviously, I noticed, with drops of water being huge and...
Yeah. I was going to say, similar to that, drink for a creative bug use of an everyday human object.
Okay.
So things like a tin can just becomes a bar, or like a bottle becomes like a barrel. You know how the grasshoppers have like all the seeds in that glass bottle?
Yes.
Stuff like that. And they live in a hat.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked a lot of
And their wings sound like motorbikes.
Yeah. I really liked the sequence in when Flick first arrives in the city, actually, and you meet all the little bugs. There was lots of really good little visual jokes buried in there, like the mosquitoes at like a blood bar. Ordering a 00 negative or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And
There's a homeless guy who's had his wings pulled off by a kid.
With a little sign, kid pulled my wings off. That's good.
Hardly funny, but
no.
it's funny in a kind of dark way, really. It's
Yeah,
like,
sure.
oh, that's grim.
Yeah.
But it's smart.
Yeah, and the moths that are getting attracted to the moth zapper as well.
Yeah.
That's really good. So yeah, there's lots of like fun little moments like that. So just drink for them, I guess.
Yeah. Drink whenever they say the word warriors.
Warriors. Okay.
That's one that comes up a lot. Because there's like the scouts who are like the ant warriors or whatever. They've all got their little capes. And then they think of the circus troopers warriors. So I just find them just saying the word warriors all the time.
I didn't pick up on that one, but sure. Okay. I don't have any more.
Okay, me neither. Cool. So before we get to sequels, listeners, for the first time this year, just to remind you, me and John are on patreon.com.
Yes.
So if you were to go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset, you can support us for as much or as little as you want, and you get yourself a little bonus show where we do movie reviews of recent releases. I think we're going to record Soul after this, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Because hey, it seems to be Pixar season.
It is, yeah.
But we've got all sorts on the back burners. Lots of home releases, lots of cinema releases.
We did The Prom recently, which was absolute garbage.
Such an incredible film in such a bad way.
Yes. And we've got plenty coming up as well.
Yeah, plenty more. It's going to be great. So yeah, you get that. You get an ad slot on the main show as well. 30-second advert slot, once a month per person. And also once a month we'll do Patreon episodes where we pick a Patreon at random and you get to choose the episode for us. Choose the film for us to do on the main show. And you can come and guest if you want to.
Yeah, we recently did one with our friend Nathaniel, who introduced us to a fabulous Japanese film called Tokyo Godfathers. So it's great.
That was a great film.
Yeah,
and I would never have watched that otherwise.
No, it's always fun.
Absolutely never.
It's always fun when the patrons bring a film that... I mean, we'll happily do something famous, but when the patrons bring something that we would never normally have watched. Like, I had never seen That Thing You Do. I don't think I'd ever picked it. That was one that Julio from The Contrarians brought to us. So we've done a lot.
We did a great couple last summer. We did Survive Style 5.
Another Nathaniel one.
Nathaniel one, and The Girl with All the Gifts.
Oh yes, that was a very good pick.
That was a surprise of a film.
Yeah. So the patrons have done us proud so far. So join them. Join us.
Join them and make it better.
Yes,
if you can. I dare you.
No, all that's available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Yes.
Cool.
Let's see, Alex. What do you think of Jaws, which is at 97% Rotten Tomatoes?
I find it to be anti-shark propaganda. What do you feel about the Entourage movie, which is at a meager 33%?
I think they finally got Hollywood right. How about It Follows, 97%?
Worse than your parents giving you the sex is evil talk. How do you feel about Juno, which is at 94%?
That would be a movie that celebrates a teenage homewrecker. How about Bewitched at 25%?
Best television adaptation ever put to film. How do you feel about American Hustle at a towering 93%?
Overwrought awards bait. Righteous Kill, 19%.
The movie that Michael Mann wishes he had made when he created Heat.
Sounds about right. I'm Julio.
I'm Alex, and we are the Contrarians.
As you can tell, our thing is that we rage against the Rotten Tomatoes machine.
Regardless of what we really feel.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn,
Facebook, Twitter, we're everywhere.
Okay, so do you want to go first?
Sure. So how many do you have?
Just the one.
Okay. I have two very short little ones, and then I've got my proper idea. Okay. So
go for it.
Should I just do my two little short ones? Yeah. Okay, so my short ones are... The first one's literally just a line. It's The Greatest Show Bug.
Nice.
Because obviously there's the P.T. Barnum joke in this. And that got me thinking, what would make that film better? Because I didn't really like The Greatest Showman very much. I know a lot of people love it. But imagine what would make that film better if all the characters were just bugs.
Yeah, that totally works.
I'm just imagining all of the characters in The Greatest Showman are the characters from A Bug's Life. So obviously the flea is going to be voiced by Hugh Jackman. Mm-hmm. I can't really remember the plot of The Greatest Showman, to be honest. Like there's some love interest.
He has a wife.
Yeah.
He also has a second love interest.
Yeah. Maybe one of the love interests is the moth.
Sure. And then he has a troupe of people who are all different.
Yeah. Well, they're big. That's basically the circus troupe. So yeah. It perfectly fits.
Yeah.
So that was basically that. There's nothing much to that whatsoever.
No, but I like it.
Mm-hmm. My second idea is called... It's a crossover movie. Mm-hmm. It's called A Bug's Life 2 Alien Ant Farm.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's in this film, it is a direct sequel. I'm thinking if they were to do like a Toy Story-esque, Antz 2, A Bug's Life 2, Toy Story 2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in this sequel, the Queen and the Princess, and both the princesses actually, Princess Atta, Julia Louis-Dreyfuss, and also Princess Dot, Hayden Patinier, and several other major ants of the community, they all get kidnapped by a human.
Okay.
Who places them in an ant farm.
Okay.
You know how like little boys sometimes have like ant farms in there? Well, not just little boys, but often it's little boys, young people.
Yeah.
You don't really see adults with ant farms. I think it's more of a kid thing, isn't it? You get them in a little plastic container and they keep some ants in, and they inevitably die after a few days, and it's a complete waste of everyone's time. But or maybe that was just my experience. I don't know.
Not very good at keeping animals.
I'm not very good at keeping animals alive. It's true. Anyway, so they get kidnapped and taken to a human house and put in an ant farm.
Yeah.
And then it's up to Flick and the circus troupe to go on a rescue mission into the humanverse, into the city or into the town.
Yeah.
To find them and rescue them.
Okay.
And I was thinking, what if the human who has taken them and put them in an ant farm is Andy from Toy Story?
Cross it over with Toy Story.
Yeah, so then they go and break into the house, and then we get the proper crossover, which with the toys have a run in with the bugs, and they have to team up. And maybe initially, bugs and toys don't get along.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a home invasion.
Yeah.
If bugs get into your house, toys don't like that.
No, totally.
So maybe initially Woody and Buzz and co are fighting off the bugs, but then they convince them to work together.
Yeah.
And all they want to do is rescue the princess and get out. So the toys help the bugs to smash the ant farm and rescue the ants, and the ants all escape, and that's it.
Now, what are we doing about the size difference here?
How do you mean?
Well, because an ant is very small.
True.
And the toys are bigger.
True.
Much bigger.
Maybe the ants kind of communicate with the little green soldiers.
Okay, yeah.
Because they're closer to their level.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe some of the bigger bugs, like the caterpillar or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
Well, that could be part of the fun, though, because in Toy Story, a lot of the humour comes from the fact that the toys are a lot smaller than the people.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, the toys are still smaller than their surroundings, but they're also a lot bigger than the bugs.
Right, okay, yeah.
So that creates its own kind of weird sizing things, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that.
I think
that's crossover.
I think if they were ever going to crowbar A Bug's Life into a sequel, that would be how they do it. They'd have to just throw it into a Toy Story franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time's probably passed.
I think the moment's passed. I'm not advocating for this.
I don't think they're going to make another Toy Story movie.
Oh, I don't know. Give it a few years. It's such a cash cow.
I mean, how many of the original cast are still alive?
True. But I just think that they're going to keep milking that udder until it's bone
And is
dry.
Tim Allen still acting?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got a sitcom. Sure.
Okay, a sitcom.
Yeah, he's more of a TV star. He's not really a film person. He did, apart from the Santa Claus, he's much more of a TV guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, cool.
Do you want to do your main one and then I'll finish with my one? Then?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So mine is called A Bug's Life 2: Curse of the Killer Bumblebees.
Curse of the Killer Bumblebees. That sounds like a 70s B movie you'd find in a VHS store that I would watch all day long.
I feel like I've taken this title, the inspiration for this title from somewhere, but I've no idea where. So I apologize if I've copied something.
Well, there have been movies about killer bees.
But Curse of the Killer Bumblebees, it just rolls off the tongue very well.
Is it kind of inspired by Curse of the Were-Rabbit from
maybe no,
Wallace and Gromit?
That doesn't feel like what I'm getting this inspiration from. I don't know. But
okay, but it's somewhere, yeah.
Either way. So I came up with the title before the plot.
Okay. But, sometimes that's how it works. Yeah.
But this time the plot does match the title.
Okay.
So anyway, it's a while later. A short enough time that all the main characters are still alive.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's like 20 years later because most of those insects, if not all, don't live 20 years.
No, most of them have a lifespan of literally a few days. So
yeah.
That's the thing you have to reckon with the sequels. If you're going to be realistic about it, a lot of these bugs are going to die very soon.
Yeah. So it's a while later. Everybody's still alive, apart from the old queen.
Oh, the old queen's died. Fair enough.
Yeah, she's gone. So
okay. Well, the actress has also died, unsurprisingly. So that's fine.
Queen Atta is she's
Julia
queen
Louis-Dreyfuss,
now queen of the entire colony.
Cool.
Colony has advanced a fair bit too. Mm-hmm. They have tripled in size.
Oh yikes!
Because Flick and Atta have been at it.
Oh dear.
So now their island is just the main hub where they live. But they built tunnels under the pond and started multiple colonies on the other side of the bank.
Okay. Now, are ants one of the bugs where the females eat the males after they procreate?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, fair enough. Not that you really want to go there, but that could be a dark twist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Breeds and that eats his brain. Yeah.
That's not where I've gone with this.
Okay, sure. Probably for the best.
Yeah. But yeah, their colony, because they really became friends with the circus troupe and like some other bugs, basically, their colonies don't just include ants, they include all kinds of different species.
Okay.
So she's essentially become queen of the local animal kingdom.
Okay, so it's like a real bug community.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Like a utopia for bugs.
Yeah. And in a scene that very much parallels The Lion King, she explains to one of her young daughters, or maybe a class, I don't know. Yeah, a class. Let's say that she's a teacher, that probably works.
Yeah.
She basically explains the circle of life.
Sure.
Just saying that, like, you know, some animals in our kingdom die and they become food for other animals.
So it's literally the speech from The Lion King.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, one species which is fairly common for them to die and become the food is bumblebees.
Okay.
They don't really go around eating many other insects. I don't know. I'm not good with my biology. Do they eat flowers? Who knows?
So are you saying the ants eat the bumblebees?
No, I'm saying the bees die and then like other bugs in the colony will come. Like maybe a bigger bug than a bumblebee will come along and just like feed on the bee's corpse.
Okay, this is starting to sound a little bit bleak, but okay, sure. This is still a kids' movie, right?
I'm just explaining the circle of life.
Okay, fine. You need to get so specific about it. There's no scene in The Lion King where they chow down on a zebra's flesh. It's just implied, you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, there is a scene where they literally chow down on actually a zebra's flesh.
Do they?
The hyenas do.
Oh, the hyenas do. Okay, sure. Fine.
It's the circle of life, John.
Okay, fine. I take it back.
Yeah, so the bees which have moved in, they've made a nest in the tree. And every now and then it gets a bit grim. One of them will just die and fall to the ground.
Okay.
So some of the bigger bugs come along, take the carcass away. Nobody ever talks about it.
Okay, it's really starting to sound a bit Sweeney Toddish at this point. But...
Well, anyway, at one point everything goes a bit topsy turvy.
Okay.
When a human scientist comes along, talking to a colleague about how the bees are dying out and they must be saved or else.
Oh, okay. Because we're very big on bee conservation these days.
Yeah. So he walks up to the beehive in the tree and sprays it with a chemical saying, "If I'm right, this should prolong their lifespan." But spoiler alert, he is not right.
Oh, it's killed all the bees.
The presence of the human sends the colony into chaos. And once he's gone, Queen Atta addresses the nation, very Boris style, and tells everyone that this unforeseen, unprecedented, rampant event has caused us great pain. But we will come together and soldier on, and life will return to normality.
Oh, I see. So it's created a bug pandemic.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Well, a funny thing happens the next day. Nobody hears from the bees.
Okay.
Nobody hears from them at all. Well, nobody even notices at first. It's only a few days later, when some of the bigger bugs are getting a bit hungry, that they actually notice that no one's heard from the bees. So Flick, being the very creative person he is, he finds a way to climb up the tree and go and sort of knock on their front door, as it were. Go and like poke his head into the beehive and see what's going on. So he does. He can't see anything. And then all of a sudden, a bee jumps up in front of him, has red eyes and blood dripping from its mouth.
Oh, it's created like zombies.
Yes.
Nice.
I didn't think of that, but zombies, yeah, definitely. But yeah, it makes him jump backwards and he falls out of the tree. Don't worry, he's very light. He doesn't get hurt from it. But he lands down below amongst a crowd of ants, which makes them all jump. Then they just hear this very loud buzzing. That's very sort of angry and manic. And they look up and it's this swarm of zombies that descend down and just start picking off the ants one by one.
Oh, so they developed a taste for ant flesh and it's kind of messed up the circle of life.
Completely, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So Flick, along with many other ants, they managed to seek refuge underground, but there are many ants that does not happen.
Okay.
They get picked up and ripped apart in the air and literally eaten, and it gets a bit much.
This is sounding more like an Antz sequel than a Bug's Life sequel at this point.
I have not kept in with the Pixar tone.
Okay, clearly.
Leave it at that. So Queen Atta calls an emergency meeting where they discuss evacuating the island, but in the meantime, Flick travels to the outskirts to again find the circus troupe and ask for help.
Okay.
So he brings them back to help come up with a plan to deal with the zombies. And they are stumped for ideas. The best they can do is to retry the fake bird again, because bees don't like birds.
Sure.
And they try it, they build it. They get the same warriors to fly it from the first film. They're all grown up. Maybe they get Hayden Panettiere to come back.
Sure. Maybe she's like a superhero at this point. Like she's,
Yeah, sure.
She's been in Heroes, though. So
yes, nice. But it doesn't work. The bees swarm the fake bird because they have that instinct that just knows that, like,
Sure.
yeah. They cause it to crash and they start breaking in. And just as they're about to catch and eat Dot and the others, they are saved by 3 real birds, which are the chicks from the original.
Oh.
those birds fly in and start pecking off the zombies one by one. And meanwhile, the circus troupe managed to help Dot and the others to safety, hiding below ground away from the epic fight between the birds and the killer zombies.
The birds and the bees, they're finally fighting. Who can win?
I didn't do that. I didn't think of that either.
Oh, come on. They're right in front of you.
Well, there's a lot of noise from the birds and the bees. But eventually all the buzzing from the bees dies out and we just hear the birds, and the birds eventually fly away. So some of the ants, led by Flick and Queen Atta, they poke their heads up above ground and they see that, like, the bees are gone, the birds are gone.
Okay.
Like, it's all been taken care of.
Okay.
The bees have all been eaten by the birds. So, and with that, life just returns to normal. Life on the island returns to normal.
Okay.
The colonies eventually sort of stabilise and everything goes back to happily ever after.
Have any lessons been learned from this experience? Or?
Well, as a post-credit stinger...
Nice.
That was...
That was good.
I think that was intentional. I don't quite remember. But as a post-credit stinger, we see the 3 birds flying away, all of whom now have red eyes and blood dripping from their beaks.
Oh, no. Oh, and does it then, like, turn into a spin-off of the film The Birds? Do they then start attacking humans? It's like,
sure, yeah. Yeah.
Nice, okay. This sounds kind of horrific, but interesting nevertheless.
Yeah, thank you.
What was that called? The Curse of the Bees?
A Bug's Life 2, Curse of the Killer Bees.
Curse of the Killer
Bees.
Bees.
Curse of the Killer Bumblebees.
Curse of the Killer Bumblebees. Lovely. Okay.
But yeah, if you want to change that to Curse of the Killer Zombies.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so what have you got?
Cool. Okay, so my last idea, this is my favourite. I've got a concept I like. It's not completely fleshed out, so I might need your help to kind of drive it home.
Yeah.
But this one is inspired by the infamous feud that this movie had with the movie Antz. Because the makers of Bug's Life basically accused Antz, of the producers of Antz, of stealing their idea.
Yeah.
And then Antz kind of got rushed out, so it would be the first one out. So
Right.
It was a whole thing. It's a big infamous feud between the 2 studios at the time, between DreamWorks and Pixar. So I thought you could kind of tie that in. I mean, this would be a very kind of Pixar-y, kind of high concept way to do a Bug's Life sequel, I think. If they somehow got the right to Antz.
Right,
I'm
okay.
sure DreamWorks aren't that bothered about it.
If Disney bought DreamWorks.
Yeah, and finally the 2 films combine.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is we start off with a flashback back to a period before the events of A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
And we find that there was a time when the 2 ant colonies from A Bug's Life and Antz were united. They were a single colony.
Okay.
But at one point, they had 2 queens. Because that happens sometimes with ants. If 2 queens are raised, then they'll both want power, and actually ant colonies will split. That's a thing that ant colonies in real life will do. They will split. So in this one...
Oh, you've actually done research on this.
Only a bit of Wikipedia in here and there, you know. Yeah. And also I've seen some documentaries about ants. They're quite fascinating. So I'm imagining this being told in like a flashback with like a voiceover, kind of like the beginning of Lord of the Rings. It's all very portentous, like, you know, long ago there was, you know. And so the fable goes, the 2 rival ant queens split, separated. One stayed on the island, and the other went off in search of a place to set up a new colony. And then they never heard from each other again, basically. And so obviously one is the happy Bug's Lifers, and the others are the ants.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously,
makes sense. They look very different. Are we going to address this?
Well, breeding's different. They've both gone their own way. You know, genetics has played a part. There's been generations since they split. So,
okay, sure.
And also, I'm thinking, like, obviously in Bug's lore, it'll be like some say they travelled thousands of miles and they were never heard from again, and then we'll zoom out and they've just literally gone across the road or something. Like,
nice.
It's no distance at all. But to them, it's an epic journey.
Yeah.
And then we snap back to the present day, and we check in with Z, the main ant from Antz.
Oh, yeah.
No longer voiced by Woody Allen. We're going to do some recasting. I don't care who.
Oh, yeah, that was it. The title of that film was spelled with a Z, wasn't it?
Yes. We come back to the present day-ish, and we check in with Z, whose colony is now facing its worst ever crisis, even worse than the original movie, when they had some kind of war. It's been a while since I've watched Antz.
There was a military coup, but there was also a war with, like, I don't know what these bugs were, but they could, like, spray acid and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, none of that's important.
Yeah.
This is a new crisis. Basically, climate change has destroyed their food supply, so that their regular foods just aren't showing up.
Right.
And also excessive rain is flooding the nest. So they're starving, and their nest is clearly not going to be fit for purpose much longer. Maybe there's also some building works happening, so they're going to get paved over soon.
Okay.
Like, maybe they're building a new pathway that happens to be over... The humans are building a new pathway that runs over their nest.
Yeah.
And so in a matter of days, they're going to be cement if they don't escape. So as the saviour of the ants from the previous Antz movie, Z is sent out on a mission to find land for them to set up a new colony. So it's like we have to leave the old hive behind and find a new place to live.
That makes sense.
So he goes wandering for many days and nights, and he gets lost. And maybe at a certain point he just collapses from exhaustion. Maybe he gets attacked by the bird. The bird from A Bug's Life. And he's running away, and he manages to escape, but he's so exhausted by the escape that he just passes out cold. And he wakes up when he's rescued by Flick, who has come across him on it sounds like he's wandered close to the original island, basically.
Yeah.
And Flick finds him on some kind of random, outing, and takes pity on him, revives him, takes him back to the island. And Zed is astonished when he comes back around. And Z is astonished when he comes back around and witnesses the island, because it's paradise. It's everything he wants.
Definitely,
it's everything his colony wants, because they are. It's plentiful food. There's loads of space. There's minimal predators. It's just perfect. He's like, this is it. This is what we need.
But is there enough space for the both of them?
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, I'm thinking that Flick and the original colony are very defensive of their territory, and they're like, there's only room for one colony on this island.
Yeah.
But I was thinking Z is also very impressed by all of the inventions that Flick has. Because Flick's an inventor and he builds up all these interesting things to make. And maybe he's continued to develop his inventions to make them even more useful. So there's loads of stuff now for harvesting and for protection. And so he's really turned it into a high-tech paradise. The fake bird as well. Maybe that just does a regular routine to keep regular birds from coming in. So there's all this stuff that Z realizes this could really help my colony. But Flick is very protective of his inventions. He's like, well, sorry, these are my intellectual property.
Yeah.
So he refuses to let Zed take them away or even share how they were built.
Yeah.
He just won't do it. So Zed is left with no other choice, as far as he knows, than to actually escape in the middle of the night and steal Flick's inventions, or one or two of Flick's inventions.
Yeah. Anything specific?
It could be the harvesting thing.
Okay.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
So he steals it, takes it back to his own colony, and presents it to his people. And they're very excited. This is stuff that's going to help them out tremendously. It's going to help them to escape more quickly and set up a new colony. So they start basically copying all of the inventions that Flick came up with.
Yeah.
And they're not as good because they don't have the same inventive skills, but they're passable.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're fine.
Yeah.
Just not quite as good, but decent enough. So this is like the parallel between Pixar, DreamWorks.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But then I'm thinking maybe he brings these inventions back, but he doesn't tell the colony where he found them. Because maybe Flick did warn him and say...
Try and pass them off as his own?
He tries to pass them off as his own, exactly, yeah. But also, Flick did say, look, we've got a very good thing here, but we're also, it's precarious and we don't want anything to ruin our paradise.
Yeah.
So maybe because he's not a bad guy, maybe because he's stolen the invention, he feels kind of guilty, so he doesn't want to actually bring the other ants to take over the island. So instead he just says that he just found these inventions.
Yeah.
Or takes credit for them himself, whatever. So he does that, and the ants kind of build up. But Flick has followed him. He's managed to track him. He wants his inventions back that got stolen. So he's tracked Zed back to Z. He's tracked Z back to the original colony, where he's shocked to discover the extent to which Z has stolen all of his inventions. And he's very disappointed and angry.
Are they fully implemented into
the
the
fully
colony?
been implemented into the colony now. And he's just like, I can't believe you stole all my stuff. And you made these cheap knockoffs. Right? But before Flick can confront Z, he is captured by soldiers. Who spot him as an intruder, an outsider, because these are very militaristic ants.
Yeah.
So Flick is captured, and this is when the rest of the colony learns that actually there's a second colony, and then they learn about the existence of the island. And I'm thinking that since the first movie, the ants colony has become very militaristic again. Maybe all of the the lack of food and resources has forced them to has caused them to become a lot more extremist. So they've got another general kind of military guy in charge who's ruling the ant colony with an iron fist. Yeah. Or it could be an empress, make Lena Headey voice a warlike, a Cersei Lannister style ant, that could be fun.
Yeah, sure. Which colony is this from?
Z's colony. The ants colony. Yeah.
Could be J-Lo.
Could be J-Lo, yeah. Maybe she's just become very warlike, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, so once the ants of this colony, once the ants from Antz, it's very hard to just make the distinction.
Yeah, I know.
Once the ants from Antz learn about the existence of the Bug's Life Island, they decide that the only thing to do is to invade. Yeah. Because this is also a thing that ants do in real life. They will invade other colonies. Ants will properly invade other colonies and just rip their opponents to shreds and steal all their stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, ants are vicious.
Yeah, brutal.
So I'm thinking that these ants like form a whole army, you know, like marching rows of ants, and they fully attack. It's like the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
They fully attack the island, and the ants from A Bug's Life are a lot less prepared for violence. They're just a very small colony. They're very peaceable. They're not prepared for this whatsoever. They're very much outnumbered and outgunned. So of course they have to recruit the circus performers. We can bring them in as well to kind of
Sure.
to help, just to give them a little cameo.
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm thinking ultimately what's going to happen is that Z is going to be overcome with guilt once he witnesses this battle and sees all the ants like attacking each other and harassing each other. He feels terribly guilty. This isn't what he wanted at all. He never wanted to cause anyone any harm.
Yeah.
And so he manages to release Flick from captivity, and the two of them then work together.
Right.
To maybe, I don't know, give a rousing speech at the end and convince the ants that they can share. They find a way to share and not fight. And so Z apologizes for stealing Flick's inventions and for being deceptive and lying to him, but also Flick apologizes for being so protective of his ideas and not sharing them among the wider community. And they realize that they can actually both get along and both make a lot of money at the box office if they just, just work together and live and let live.
They just work together and they're all owned by Disney.
Yeah, exactly. They become a conglomerate. That's it. The two colonies merge and become a conglomerate, and then they become. And then we just see them like harvesting the land so much that they just rip it to shreds. But
yeah. Yeah, that works. That
ends on a very
works.
dark, Monopoly style.
Yeah, cool. I like it. Do you have a name for that?
That was A Bug's Life 2 and Ant's Destiny.
Nice.
Yeah. Again, merging.
Yeah. Very good. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, you've got some listener submissions?
I do, yes. So, listener submissions. Obviously, this is a popular film. So, Dave McCormick said, A Bug's Life, the tragic story of Hopper. So, I guess that's maybe the grasshopper's perspective on it, or maybe it's just going to focus on what a grim way he died. Or maybe he didn't die. Maybe he survived somehow that horrendous. I'm not sure how, but maybe he just, like in Antz, just the head. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe it's all like, it's set in the final moments before he's ripped apart, but it's all like flashbacks of his life.
Oh gosh, that's very melancholy. Yeah, sure. Grim. Mike Carey said, Flick's invention skills lead to him asking Rick Moranis for help to return to normal size in Honey, I Blew Up the Ant.
Very good.
I like that. That's good. Yeah. Scott Hillman said, no longer subject to the whims of Hopper and his cronies, the colony is ready to split. However, this causes a lot of complications as their new home is in a housing development for people who they don't quite understand. So I guess that's like the ants move to the big city, I guess.
Yeah.
A classic sequel fare. They go from a little tiny island to become like city ants. So, Dennis Fanning said, A Bug's Afterlife. What is heaven for an ant? How many mayflies can there be in the hereafter? And what is grasshopper hell like? Get ready to fuck up your 4-year-old for life and make middle-aged dads everywhere cry.
Yes.
Yeah. Christopher Davies said, A Bug's Life 2, Crazy Cicadas. It's a word for grasshoppers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Over on Twitter, at Benny2TS said, not such a sequel as a crossover, A Bag's Life. The most beautiful adventure ever filmed. It's an animation featuring the plastic bag from American Beauty as it leads a rebellious army of rubbish against a gang of tyrannical climate change denying bin men.
Great.
That's a good idea.
Great.
A couple of our pals had some ideas as well. Martin Gardner at MG Loves Fun said, It's a Fug's Life, a hilarious animated gangster movie featuring the voices of Vinnie Jones, Jason Statham, and Ray Winston.
Nice, yeah.
And finally, Ross Burton, friend of the pod, said, did you say gay?
I said okay.
Okay, I thought you said Ross Burton gay. Harry mature. So yeah, Ross Burton, friend of the pod.
Sorry, I said okay again. Sorry,
okay.
It's
sure. Okay,
it's my Tourette's coming back.
Sure. So Ross Burton, friend of the pod, said a new one for every branch of the taxonomic tree of the animal kingdom. This is a very classic Ross science answer. Moving on to an arachnid's life, then a cetacean's life, and so on and so forth. So yeah, very highbrow. Yeah,
I mean, I'd watch a spider's life.
That's probably quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe a film that shows that spiders aren't always that scary.
No, compared to ants, they're bloody saints. They're nowhere near as violent.
Yeah.
Apart from to flies, I guess. But
well, yeah. Yeah, cool.
Great. So thank you everybody for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which you can also leave a 5-star review, which really helps us to stay on top of the rankings and get new listeners, so please do consider doing that. As mentioned before, we are also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us more than 5 stars if they could. You can find all the links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, Harry, it's a big one.
Yeah.
We are hitting a major podcasting milestone.
Yeah.
200 episodes. Episode 200. Can you believe it?
I almost can.
You almost can.
Yeah. I reckon at 1 week from now, I'll be able to believe it.
Okay. Well, let's see. We'll come back next week and say. So we had to mark this in some way. So I thought a good way to mark episode 200 would be to go all the way back to the beginning, to episode number 1, way back when we were so much younger, so much happier, so bright-eyed. So the first episode we ever did was an obscure little movie called Titanic.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah. And, it was our first episode. We didn't quite have it all nailed down. So it was actually quite a short episode. I
think we spent about 12 minutes talking about the film before we jumped into sequels.
Yeah. So,
if that, I think it's...
Yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to go back, do it again, see what's changed. Give it the Beyond the Box Set 2020 treatment. Yeah. 2021 treatment. Give it the Beyond the Box Set 2021 treatment.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll come up with better ideas we did the first time round.
I quite like our ideas the first time, but we'll revisit them. We'll have a bit of a nostalgia fest, and we'll have some new ideas as well.
Yeah,
we'll see what comes out.
Yeah.
So listeners, join us next week for episode 200
/ episode 1.
Titanic.
It's going to be a Titanic episode.
It will be a Titanic achievement to get to 200 episodes.
Yeah. It's been nearly 4 years now.
It has been almost 4 years.
I'm burnt out.
Spent, yeah. Well, that's why we're lazily going back to episode 1.
We've run out of films.
Yeah. We've got plenty more to come.
Yes, loads. Great. So thanks everybody for listening. Thank you for subscribing. You can do so on iTunes and all that. John's already mentioned. And hey, here's to the next 200.
Indeed.
I'll probably say that again at the end of next episode, actually. Probably. Here's to the next 199.
Excellent.
There we go.
Great. Cool. See you next week.
See ya. Bye.